Today, we're talking about something that a lot of people don't realize has completely changed. Buying a home when you're over 60. If it's been a while since you last bought, trust me, the rules aren't what they used to be. And I'm not just going to give you the same generic AI-generated videos you can find online. We're going to cover what's actually happening in today's market, and we'll make sure that you know how to avoid the biggest mistakes people make. You'll hear about changes in the process, changes in financing, and changes in tax consequences. Some markets in 2025 are fast. Others have slowed down. Everything I'm sharing today is based on making smart moves no matter what the pace is where you're shopping. An agent I'd met recently told me about this buyer. They traveled 11 hours to house hunt for a full week, touring 9 different homes with their agent. Every single one was a disappointment. One had mold, another had a terrible layout, and all of them looked way better in photos than they did in real life. Now, I talk a lot about how sellers use staging, lighting, and wide-angle lenses to make homes look amazing online. That's just the game. But when a house looks so different in person that buyers feel completely misled, that's a problem. And that's exactly what happened to this couple. After a long and frustrating week, they finally found a house they loved. They told their agent that they'd think it over and get back to them that night. They texted their agent later that evening and got no response. By morning, the house was already under contract. They missed out. This is why having the right agent matters. The thing is, the house was priced aggressively. The house had just been listed and had over 15 showings in 2 days. If I had been their agent, I would have told them immediately, this home is going to move fast. If you want it, we need to act now. Now, depending on where you're shopping in 2025, the pace can vary. Some areas are still very competitive. Others have slowed down a bit. That's why it's so important your agent knows exactly what's happening locally, not just nationally. Getting back to the story, if I had been their agent, I would have called that listing agent right away, asked about offers, and guided my buyers on making a strong move before it was too late. Your agent should be proactive. They should be anticipating what's coming, not just reacting after the fact. And they should be honest with you about what's happening in the market. In this case, I don't think the agent realized just how competitive things were. They weren't pushing back the buyers to act quickly, and that mistake cost them their dream home. Now let's talk about another hard truth. If you're struggling to find homes that meet your needs, your price point might be too low. Agents don't have a secret stash of underpriced homes. If nothing fits your criteria, it's usually because the market isn't offering what you want at your budget. That's a tough pill to swallow, but an experienced agent will be upfront about it so you don't waste time looking at the wrong homes. This is just the start of what you need to know if you're over 60 and buying a home today. In the next section, we're going to get into how to find an agent that actually knows what they're doing, how experience makes all the difference, and how to navigate today's fast-moving market. Now that we've talked about how quickly homes can move and the challenges buyers face, let's get into the part that really makes or breaks your experience, your real estate agent. Not all agents are created equal. In fact, unfortunately, a lot of them don't know what they're doing. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Real estate has a very low barrier to entry, and that means plenty of agents out there are great at marketing themselves, but not great at actually getting deals done. So how do you find the right one? First, experience matters. A solid agent should have at least 150 transactions in the last 5 years. That's the benchmark I use. Why? Because the more deals an agent has done, the more market knowledge they'll have. They've negotiated in multiple market conditions, they've handled tricky situations, and they know how to anticipate problems before they happen. Now, here's where things get tricky. If you're working with a highly successful listing agent, chances are they aren't personally handling buyer showings anymore. Top listing agents often delegate buyer work to a team member or a showing assistant. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as they are still overseeing negotiations and strategy. That's how I work with buyers. I personally handle all the negotiation, pricing strategies, and contract details, but I have trusted team members who help with showings. This is actually better for you as a buyer because it means your agent isn't constantly running around opening doors. They're focused on securing you the best deal. Unfortunately, the couple in the story from section 1 probably ended up with an agent who just wasn't aggressive enough. Their agent should have immediately reached out to the listing agent, asked if there were offers on the table, and advised them on what it would take to win the home. Instead, they lost out because the agent was slow to respond. And that brings me to my next point. Great agent moves fast. In a competitive market, hesitation costs you homes. That said, not every market is moving at lightning speed today. Some areas give you a little more breathing room, but a smart agent knows when that speed matters and when strategy matters even more. If your agent isn't picking up the phone to call the listing agent, if they aren't pushing to get your offer in quickly, you're at a disadvantage. A strong buyer's agent needs to be proactive, assertive, and well connected. Another sign of an inexperienced agent, if they tell you, there just aren't any homes that fit your criteria. No, that is not how it works. If you're not finding homes, it usually means one of two things. Your price point is too low for what you want. This is a hard truth that many buyers don't want to hear. But if nothing is checking your boxes, you may need to adjust your budget. Your expectations don't match the market. You might be looking for something that simply doesn't exist in your area. Some markets just don't have a lot of one-story homes or homes with big yards or whatever it is that you're after. A good agent will tell you this up front so you can adjust your search accordingly. This is why having the right person in your corner is everything. When you're over 60 and buying a home, you don't have time for games. You need someone who knows the market, understands how to get deals done, and isn't afraid to have the tough conversations. Whether that's telling you a home is overpriced or advising you to move quickly when a great opportunity comes up. In the next section, we'll dive into the financial side of buying a home over 60, including the biggest mistakes buyers make when it comes to mortgages, cash offers, and financing strategies. Stick with me. This is where things get really interesting. Let's talk about money, because if you're over 60 and buying a home, the way you finance your purchase is going to be very different from when you bought your first house decades ago. The biggest shock for many buyers in this stage of life, having money in the bank doesn't guarantee you a mortgage. Buyers with millions in assets struggle to get approved for a loan. Why? Because traditional mortgages are based on income, not assets. Lenders look at your debt to income ratio, which means they want to see steady, documentable income. Your DTI generally needs to be under 41% to qualify for a mortgage, which is frustrating. If you don't have regular W-2 income, this can be tricky. Even if you've got $2 million in the bank, if you don't have income, you could get denied for a loan. It makes no sense, but it's the reality of today's lending world. What are your options? Talk to a lender early. A good lender can help you figure out how to structure your finances in a way that works for mortgage approval. Some lenders can use asset depletion loans, where they calculate an income stream based on your savings and investments. Consider paying cash or doing a large down payment. If you don't want to deal with mortgage headaches, cash purchase eliminates the hassle. But if you want to keep some liquidity, putting down a larger percentage, like 50% or more, can make financing way easier. Use retirement accounts strategically. Some buyers choose to withdraw from an IRA or a 401k to qualify for a mortgage, but this needs to be done carefully to avoid tax penalties. A financial advisor can help structure this in a way that works best for you. Use a HECM for purchase. This is a reverse mortgage where you put down 50% and never have a payment. This isn't for everyone, but it can be a great way to get a home while living on your investments and Social Security. So, should you buy before you sell? This is one of the biggest challenges for buyers in their 60s. You might be thinking, well, we'll just sell our house first and then buy. But that's a risky strategy unless you have a clear plan. I've seen way too many people sell their home thinking they'll immediately find something to buy, only to realize there's nothing available in their price range. Then they're scrambling for temporary housing, stuck in a rental, or worse, having to move in with family. Here's what I recommend instead. Start looking at homes now, even if you're thinking you're a few years away from selling. You need to know what's actually out there in your price range. Talk to a lender early to see what you can qualify for a mortgage without selling first. Have a backup plan. If you do sell before buying, make sure you know where you'll go, whether it's a short-term rental, staying with family, or securing a lease back from the buyer of your current home. Now, what if I have to buy and sell at the same time? That's where home sale contingencies come in. But let me be real, most sellers won't accept an offer that's contingent on you selling your home, especially in a competitive market. There's a slight difference between a home sale contingency and a home close contingency. A home sale contingency means that you haven't even listed your home yet, and you're asking a seller to wait for you to sell. This is basically a no-go in a strong market. A home close contingency means you're already under contract on your home and just waiting for the closing. This is slightly better, but still a tough sell. Bottom line, if you're trying to buy and sell at the same time, you need a strong strategy. You might need a bridge loan, a short-term rental, or a creative financing solution. The key is not waiting until the last minute to figure it out. Okay, people, I want to give you a bonus tip. Here's how you can keep more of your equity. In 1997, the IRS changed the rules around capital gains, and the new law could save you tens of thousands of dollars when you sell. Here's the deal. If you lived in your home for at least 2 of the last 5 years, you may not have to pay capital gains on up to $250,000 of profit when you sell. You're married? That exclusion jumps to $500,000. That means if you bought your home for $300,000 and sell it today for $800,000, you could walk away with the entire $500,000 gain tax-free as a couple. No age requirement, no need to reinvest, no more rollover rules from the old system. This change, made permanent in 1997, was a game changer for homeowners, especially retirees looking to downsize or relocate without a giant tax bill. If it's been a while since you sold a home or you're helping a parent with their move, this is one of the biggest financial perks to know about ahead of time. All right, now let's get into one of the biggest shakeups in real estate in years, the NAR lawsuit. The changes to buyer's commission and how this affects you when purchasing a home. If you haven't heard, in August of 2024, the rules for buyer's agent commissions changed. Before this, it was common for sellers to cover the buyer's agent commission. Under the new rules, buyers are now expected to pay their agent directly in many cases. Reality has been, though, that nothing has really changed except some semantics. In today's market, sellers are still paying buyer's commission because the market isn't as fast as it once was. That could change as market conditions change, so talk to your realtor about the market to understand what to expect. What does this mean for you? You'll likely have to sign a buyer's agent agreement. If you've worked with a real estate agent before, this might be new to you. This agreement lays out what the agent will do for you and how they'll be compensated. Some agreements are for one showing. Others last 6 months. It's all negotiable. How your agent gets paid is now part of your offer. When you submit an offer, your agent will request a commission from the seller, typically a percentage of the sales price. If the seller agrees, great, you don't have to pay out of pocket. If the seller declines, you may have to cover your agent's fee yourself. Sellers are still paying commissions in most cases. A lot of people freaked out about this rule change, but in reality, most sellers are still offering buyer's agent commission. What's different is now that everything is not negotiated up front by the listing agent. It's all part of the negotiations to go under contract. This is why it's so important to work with an agent who understands these new rules and how to negotiate effectively. I've seen way too many agents put themselves over their clients. To me, this is unacceptable. We should always strive to do our best for our customers. The positive results for the agent will happen. How to choose the right agent. The agent you work with makes or breaks your home buying experience, and not all agents are created equal. Here's what you should be asking when choosing a buyer's agent. How many transactions have they handled? A great agent should have at least 150 sales in the last 5 years. This shows real experience. Are they full-time? Real estate is not a side hustle. You want someone who is fully dedicated. Do they understand the market? You need an agent who can spot a competitive listing, move fast, and negotiate aggressively to get you the home you want. What's their strategy? A good agent isn't just there to unlock doors. They should have a game plan for getting your offer accepted. Look, I get it. Buying a home at this stage of life comes with a lot of moving parts. The market has changed, the process has changed, and there are more challenges than ever. But with the right knowledge and the right team, you can navigate this process with confidence and avoid costly mistakes. Here's what I'd do next if I were you. Download the free Sunshine State Handbook, even if you're buying. This guide has essential strategies you need to know. Need an agent recommendation? If you're not sure where to start, I can help connect you with an experienced, top-tier real estate agent in your area. I have over 80,000 agents that cover the entire US as well as Canada at my fingertips. I can help find a top-producing agent that will get you what you need to help you move forward with a sale or purchase anywhere. At the end of the day, my goal is simple: to educate you, empower you, and make sure you never feel lost in this process. The more you know, the smarter and smoother your home buying experience will be. If you've made it this far, drop a comment and let me know what surprised you the most about today's market. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my next video. I'm still Tom McNamara, and this has been the Florida Real Estate Insider. I'd love to help you. Call me anytime, email me. I answer every call, text, and email myself. Let's do this together.